We have another jam-packed show coming your way on the Ravens Rundown, but first I want to ask you this question. If you still think the Ravens are better than the Cleveland Browns, that hapless franchise that doesn't have any sustainable success, hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. And if you don't, you will after I relay this information. This coming from the Cleveland Browns Report host Matthew Peterson about the Ravens and the Browns. He said this verbatim the other day on the show, quote, "The Browns are by far a better franchise than the sorry Ravens. It's Cleveland's division now, and I hope the Ravens have fun drafting in the top 10 for the next 5 years." Can you believe that he had the audacity to say something like that, considering that the Browns last year in 2020 won their first playoff game since 1994, and the Ravens have had so much success over the last couple of decades? He's an absolute fraud, and the Browns are a fraudulent franchise. So hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and let's talk some Ravens football right now. What a way to start. You're watching the Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. So much to get to and unpack on today's show. And really, one of the biggest news items that's fallen under the radar with all of these NFL rumors circulating across the NFL atmosphere, Harbaugh signing that 3-year contract extension. John Harbaugh, over time, has become one of the best head coaches in the National Football League, and the fact that he's going to be tied to this organization for the next 3 years is just monumental for this team. I thought what he did last year, given the bevy of injuries on this roster, really was terrific work, almost getting the Ravens to a point where they made it into the playoffs with that injury-battered roster. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL. The Ravens, with him at their disposal, they become even more dangerous as a franchise. Next up, Bobby Wagner. Then we'll really start to unpack the latest nuts and bolts around the Ravens. It really comes down to the Rams and Ravens as far as the two teams who are in the most on Bobby Wagner, who is going to be a Hall of Fame linebacker at some point. The Ravens can really offer him the most money, but the Rams, coming off that Super Bowl championship against the Cincinnati Bengals, are moving in the right direction, of course, as a defending Super Bowl champion. So Rams, Ravens, maybe the Dallas Cowboys, but they're not really going to spend around $11 million per year for Bobby Wagner. That's what it comes down to on the Bobby Wagner front. Before we get to Lamar Jackson and this contract situation that's hovering around this franchise, how bad do you want Bobby Wagner? Let me know in the comment section. This will be the pinned comment on today's video. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, just scroll on down and get your votes in. Scale it for me from 1 to 100. The Lamar Jackson contract situation between his side and the Baltimore Ravens continues to be one of the more fascinating storylines in the NFL offseason, an NFL offseason that's been jam-packed with such storylines. Lamar Jackson, with all these contract extension rumors out there, went to Twitter and voiced how he's really feeling to kind of throw some cold water on those rumor flames. He said, "I love my Ravens. I don't know who the hell is putting out that false narrative that I'm having thoughts about leaving. Stop trying to read my mind." Now, as we continue to unpack this Lamar Jackson contract situation, according to Dianni Rossini, Lamar Jackson has no sense of urgency to sign this contract, which will make him one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the National Football League. As far as the franchise side of things, Ravens waiting on Lamar to, quote, step up and negotiate with them, but he seems to be patient. There's no rush for Lamar Jackson. And Harbaugh, on the other hand, said he's very confident that a deal at some point will get done. And I don't envision a scenario in which Lamar Jackson leaves Baltimore. He's perfect for Baltimore, and the Charm City is perfect for Lamar Jackson. More reporting from Jason La Canfora of CBS saying this about Lamar. Numerous sources close to the situation indicated he is quite well versed in the NFL quarterback financial landscape, and league sources also indicated the Ravens have never presented an offer in the stratosphere of the $40 to $45 million per year number that other top young quarterbacks have secured, instead focusing on long-term deals, 5 years, closer to $35 million per year. Now, Lamar Jackson, I think, is doing a pretty smart thing and waiting out the quarterback market to see how much money that he can get. especially playing his cards right after Deshaun Watson was given $230+ million of fully guaranteed money. Highest paid quarterbacks on an average annual value basis. Lamar Jackson is probably looking to get into this top 5 category. Aaron Rodgers with that new contract set to make around $50 million per year. Deshaun Watson overtaking Patrick Mahomes at 46 even. Then Josh Allen and Dak Prescott rounding things out. Now, a lot of people will say because Lamar Jackson is a dual threat quarterback, he's not a prototypical drop back passer, he's not going to land anywhere between 40 and $50 million. But the Ravens better be careful, because if they give him a contract that he feels as though is disrespectful, I can guarantee you this, he will go elsewhere, because he will get paid elsewhere, because other teams are quarterback starved across the NFL. Should Lamar be the highest paid quarterback in the entire NFL? I'm not sure I'm going to type my Y for yes, but if you disagree with me, that's all good in the hood, G. If you're with me, type N for no. Either way, what say you? Let me know in the comment section right now. Now, the NFL Draft is coming your way from April 28th to April 30th in Las Vegas. Our coverage of the NFL Draft is going to be awesome. We're going to be breaking down every single pick that the Baltimore Ravens make. That's why you subscribe to the channel. But if you want to be rocking the hats that the draftees for Baltimore also wear, you can find them right now using that link down below. It's chatsports.com/Ravens draft hats. Couple of different styles available. You can go flat brim, but you can also go with the dad hat style. Back in the day, I used to be a big flat brim guy. Now I go more so with the dad hat style. Either way, couple of styles available. Chatsports.com/Ravens draft hats. I'm going to put that link in the comment section and the description of this video. It is mock draft season with the NFL Draft right around the corner, and a very interesting selection for Baltimore in the latest CBS mock draft that has Kayvon Thibodeaux, one of the best edge rushers in this year's class out of Oregon, going to Baltimore. It would be absolutely fascinating, because I think outside of Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeaux is right there. Now, there's been some concerns about his character, but the player strictly and solely, very good player. 49 tackles and 7 sacks last year. Missed a little bit of time with a lower body injury, 2 forced fumbles, but he can wreak havoc in the backfield. As for what CBS Sports had to say about Thibodeaux going to the Ravens, and I'm not sure he's going to slide this late in the first round to Baltimore. Thibodeaux has game-changing talents, and frankly, it would be shocking to see him on the board here. He'd fill a big need for the Ravens, who, after losing Matthew Judon to the Patriots, weren't able to get after the quarterback last season like we're used to seeing. Thibodeaux would change that. That on top of the fact that they also lost Zadarius Smith to the Minnesota Vikings, not ideal for Baltimore either, but with Odafe Owe and a couple of other guys along the mix on that front line, they're going to be a pretty solid defensive line, because Baltimore always has a very good defensive line, and we'll get to more defensive line information here. But first, I want to hear from you in the comment section once more, because I'm curious. Your dream NFL draft prospect for Baltimore. Is it Thibodeaux? Is it another player? Give me a name or names in the comment section right now. Staying along the defensive line, Michael Pierce. Was the contract that he signed with the Baltimore Ravens a mistake? Bleacher Report said it was. He signed a 3-year contract worth around $16.5 million. Sat out 2020, only played in 8 games last year, and that's why Bleacher Report had the hot take meter kind of registering, because he sat out 2020, only played half the games last year, and signed a pretty solid contract for Baltimore. 3 years, $16.5 million, but you have to consider some of the guaranteed money in play here. In 2021, what was Pierce able to do on the interior of that defensive line for the Ravens? He boosted 20 tackles, 3 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, and 1 forced fumble. You look at a player like this, is he a 2-down player? Is he a 3-down player at 6 foot, 340 pounds? He's certainly a load at defensive tackle for Baltimore, but that's a lot of money for a guy who hasn't been consistently available for Baltimore the last 2 years, and that paved the way for Bleacher Report to say that, for the Vikings last year. So do you think this was a bad contract for the Baltimore Ravens? Let me know. B for bad or G for good. I think they're betting on potential upside here for a player who's certainly displayed that potential with Minnesota, now with Baltimore. Let me know once more in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe to the Baltimore Ravens Rundown by Chat Sports, whether it's me or another Chat Sports host here. We keep you up to date with all of the latest Baltimore Ravens news and rumors. multiple videos per week. And as we pick up more subscribers, we're going to be pushing out more videos. NFL free agency, we've had you covered. NFL mock drafts, we have you covered. NFL draft, we're going to be here for you. So make sure you hit that red subscribe button so you can be here for us.